Hey, yo, what up? It's Lamech with selahsportsTV. How y'all feeling? Y'all doing all right. Coming at you with a quick one today. Um, just some quick takeaways. I think sometimes in boxing, like when you have like big fights, and, like big events, like this past weekend, it kind of makes you take a step back and look at where the sport is. If not the sport, at least a division, right? And I think we need to kind of reassess the welterweight division. But before we do that, I just want to touch on some things that we saw in the fight. Terrence Crawford versus Shawn Porter fight. Huge fight. It was a great fight. I don't think either guy disappointed. I mean, Crawford was a favorite to win, and I think he came through. I think he delivered on what he was supposed to. Another knockout for him. He stopped everybody he's faced in the welterweight division, right? But real quick, gotta address the elephant in the room, and that's Kenny Porter and Shawn Porter, right? Did not like what I saw that night. I didn't like what I saw. I know in this society, like, a lot of times there's like a rush to create like a good feel-good story, right? Everybody loves a feel-good story. And like Shawn Porter he's an amazing guy. I mean, even in the loss, like, I just look at all the stuff that he did and had to deal with, throughout his career. And that's a strong cat right there. I did not like Kenny Porter's. I didn't like his behavior on fight night. All right. I get it, and I didn't. If you remember, like, I did say that he would be the one to stop this fight. I said it days before the fight. I said Kenny Porter is going to be the one to stop this fight. Now, that being said, I thought his stoppage. I didn't like his stoppage of the fight. Like, I think he could have allowed a little bit. This is boxing. Like, your son wasn't hurt. He wasn't physically hurt, So I don't think his stoppage came to protect Shawn. Okay. Now, I get it. Knee-jerk reactions on fight night. Things happen, and people, we're so quick to come up with the reasoning and everything, like, right there on fight night. But for me, I have to take a step back and kind of take some time to look at things to see what really happened. And yeah, Shawn, he took the 2 knockdowns in that round. But up until then, it was not like he was just getting plastered. It was a good fight. He was in the fight. Crawford was in control of the fight, I believe. But was Shawn just out there getting, like, it wasn't like a Floyd versus Arturo Gatti type of situation. Like, it's not like he was just getting dominated. He was in the fight. 10th round was bad for him, and he got a couple knockdowns. We knew that was pretty much coming for Kenny Porter to step in and stop it there. I don't think it was for Shawn's protection. I think Kenny is kind of a selfish guy, and this is not me shitting on Kenny Porter. Like, whatever Kenny Porter's done, whatever deficiencies he's had, he's able to guide his son's career to a damn respectable level, okay? Whatever his shortcomings, whatever people are saying, he's been able to kind of get him here. That's one way of looking at it. We'll touch on another way to look at it in a few. But I think Kenny was, I think he can be kind of mean towards Shawn Porter, and I think that has run its course. I didn't like it. I didn't like his comments after the fight. Like, there's no reason to say any of that negative shit about Shawn's training. Like, everybody knows Shawn Porter as a worker, okay? A guy that will give you everything he's had. Like, for Kenny Porter, his father, to get up there and, you know, put doubt in people's minds on fight night, like, why would you do that? It's only, to me, to be hurtful towards his son. I don't like shit like that. Like, sick and tired of these fucking parents, like, dismissing themselves from any type of ridicule, right? Whenever it's time to face some type of ridicule, or, you know, stand there with your child and say, hey, we didn't get it done. It's never that. Then the child has to stand, and I'm saying child, but Shawn Porter's a grown-ass man. He's 30-something years old, okay? But in regards to Kenny Porter, that's his son. That is his child. So, like, if you can win, like, if you're there basking in all the glory when you guys win, like, do the same thing when you fucking lose. Where's the character? I see that so many. It's not just, like, again, you know how I do this. Like, I talk about these things in sports because they relate to real life. Like, there's so many parents that operate like that. You know, whenever the kid is doing something good, right? They get accepted to this school, or they do this thing that's socially accepted in the eyes of everyone else. The parent is right there, chest poked out, saying, yeah, that's my kid. But as soon as the kid does something that isn't as acceptable or accepted, you know, or just maybe lose a fight, lose a contest, lose a game, or lose a spelling bee, right? Or maybe not get as good a grade as, then that's when the separation comes. And the parents say, oh, well, I did everything I could. Very low character. Very low character. I didn't like that shit. I didn't think it was cool. And honestly, as parents, we got to do better than that. Like, I pray, those are the types of things that I pray to be removed from me. You know, do I want my kids to emulate my ways, my good ways? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I would like to think that I would be strong enough to stand there with them and support them without dragging them under the fucking bus because my ego is hurt. I think that shit is disgusting. And I'm glad that Shawn Porter kind of retired right there on the spot, because it's like, oh, well, there goes your meal ticket, right? I didn't like Kenny Porter's comments leading up to the fight. I heard little comments that he was making, complaining about not being able to spar this guy, and, oh yeah, I'm about to go with Tank. I'm going with Tank. Like, he's saying this the day before his son's biggest fight. He's talking about how he got to catch up with Tank Davis. Little shit. It's little things. Just little narcissistic trying to troll and pick at your son, though. Your child. Not cool, Kenny Porter. I'm not going to ride him too hard. Like, Shawn Porter retired. On to the next chapter. Yeah, I got Bud as my pound for pound number one. I had him there before this fight. Maybe would have been Canelo, but just look, you Canelo fanboys, don't come for me, all right? Because I got Canelo as number 2 on my pound for pound list. If that's hating to you, then I don't know. To me, number 2 pound for pound is not bad in any stretch of the word, but because Bud has never had any type of controversy attached to his name, nothing like that. You know, he's hadn't had any close fights. He's dominated everyone he's faced. You know, whether he knocked them out or not, there was no doubt as to who won the fight in any of his fights. I got him as number 1, okay? I got him washing that whole welterweight division. including these new upstarts that y'all are so high up on now. Like, I got them beating those guys. Okay? But, I mean, that's just my pound for pound list, which means what? Means pretty much nothing. Everybody has a pound for pound list. Like, getting on people and trying to, like, roast people over their pound for pound list is like trying to roast somebody over their favorite flavor of ice cream or their favorite pizza toppings. Like, it really, taste can't be wrong. Like, what makes my pound for pound list and what makes me favor one fighter over another might not be what makes you do the same. Like, you might not require guys to hold titles. It might just be complete eye tests for you. You might put heavyweights on your pound for pound list, where the next person might not. You see how, like, let people have their list. That's what makes boxing fun. That type of shit. There's no wrong or right when it comes to pound for pound. Like, there's no one pound for pound list. Let's use a little common sense, right? Which brings me to my next point. Like, I watch a lot of you guys' channels. I watch them. Doesn't mean I'm gonna agree with everything you say or disagree. Like, I'm not a hater, you know. Like, there's no hate in my blood. Like, I'll watch your channel even if I disagree with half the shit you say. I watch your channel if I feel like there's value in your channel, if it's entertaining to me, I probably watch your channel, right? There's channels that I watch on here, and this, I mean, like, I watch Ring IQ, I watch Goodfellas Sports TV. Who else do I watch? I watch Blood Boxing. I watch New Media Today Boxing. Right? I watch shit. Sometimes I watch Showbiz the Adult, right? I watch Counterpunch Boxing News. Like, it's a bunch of channels that I watch, but that don't make me, like, that don't make me a fan of yours. Like, I'm not a fucking fan where everything you say I'm gonna agree with it, right? or like some type of hater, like, where everything, I'm just there to disagree with everything you say. Like, yeah, I'm with you when you're right. And I say that shit all the time. If I feel like I agree with you, and by right, I mean I agree. I can't say, if it's on a matter of opinion, I can't say what's definitively right. What I can say is I agree. So that's what I mean by that. Like, if I agree, I agree. And I'll hop right in your comments and tell you I agree. If I disagree, especially if I strongly disagree, I'll hop in your comments and say that. Like, but as long as I'm doing it respectfully, I don't think you guys should take any offense to that. You know, if you do, maybe we just have a different opinion on what manhood is. Like, to me, men should challenge each other respectfully. Men, like, when men challenge each other respectfully, that's iron sharpening iron. That's what I see it as. Like, it's not all this, oh, he might get mad if I disagree with him. I don't give a fuck about that shit. First of all, not only am I a man, I'm a Marine, okay? Like, we don't care about that shit. We don't care about that. Even if it come to a little tussle situation, like, life goes on. Life goes on, but, like, disagreeing is not a declaration of war. It shouldn't be. You know, like, and if it is, I tell you what, here's because I'm all about solutions. If you think a challenge, a respectful challenge or disagreement, somebody disagreeing with you is a declaration of war, here's an idea. Don't get on your show and say shit like, nobody gonna come on here and tell me nothing. Like, because that sounds like a challenge. Nobody gonna come on here and tell me and disagree with whatever point you're making. Right? You're saying that your idea can't be challenged. and nobody has the heart to challenge you on it. Well, some people do. And it don't have to be disrespectful. Right? So if you're going to issue a challenge, expect that challenge to be met. Fair? And if you don't expect that, like, don't put the challenge out there. Because what I'm seeing is nobody going to come on here and say nothing to me. And then somebody does and say, wait a minute, I'll talk about, you know, why I disagree with you. Respectfully. Nothing disrespectful. I'll talk about why I disagree with that, with what you just said. Oh man, fuck you niggas, fuck you. You don't know if you don't know. Now, I guess you're taking the challenge back. Now you upset that somebody accepted your challenge. So just, you understand what I'm saying. Like, come on. You can't have it both ways. You can't have, if a challenge is disrespectful, stop challenging people. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm the type of guy, like, you're going to put a challenge out there, and I'm like on that side, I'm going to step up. And it's nothing disrespectful. You know, it's nothing disrespectful. And if it's a thing where my channel just ain't big enough, that's fine too. I get it. Because one thing I'm not trying to do, this is why I don't be putting people's names all in my titles and shit. Like, if it's on something negative. Only way I'm gonna put your name in there is if it's something like where I'm giving you props or something. And I really don't even do that. Because I don't want nobody thinking I'm like, I don't brown nose none of you dudes. Like, you don't ever have to shout me out. I'm gonna get it how I live. I'm gonna get it the real way. Okay? Without a shout out from another YouTuber. Like, that's really not, it's no big deal. Get over yourselves. Right? Back to the welterweight division though. I think the welterweight division is back on. I think it was a stale period, thanks to the side of the street narrative and all of that. But I think with Terrence Crawford, not only with his win over Shawn Porter, which did a lot of good for him in the eyes and in the mind, what's the word? The hearts and minds of people who watched. Now that puts him on a level with the guys that was avoiding him, or at least maybe above the guys that were avoiding him, because none of them could do Porter the way he did, right? So it makes us look at this division a little bit differently. I think we have a bunch of guys who've been seen as like A fighters at the top, and I think they're on their way out. Shawn Porter, he literally retired, right? Kell Brook, Keith Thurman, Adrian Broner, all these guys were seen as like top tier name guys. Like, these are names that you want, but in reality, they're kind of on their way out, right? And Mikey Garcia, I gotta put him in there, even though I never saw him as a legitimate welterweight. Like, I never saw him as a threat to any welterweight, any solid A-level welterweight. I never saw that. All those guys are trending down. They're trending down, right? And we got a bunch of new guys coming in, good welterweights, right? A bunch of good ones. I think Crawford is still trending up. I mean, he's 34, but he's been relatively fresh. He hasn't been beat up, right? He hasn't been beat up. You got Crawford, you got Josh Taylor talking about moving up. Taylor still has a fight coming up with Catterall. I expect him to win that fight. But Josh Taylor is undisputed, okay? That's a pretty big fucking fight. I don't think he wants the Crawford fight right now. I don't think he does. But we'll see. Conor Benn, right? All these guys, Ugas is still riding high, I believe. He's coming off a Manny Pacquiao win, right? Boots Ennis. All these guys are trending up, and those other dudes are trending down. So we got to start looking towards the fights that we think we might get, or that we think we can get, or maybe we just get a little idealistic and go for the fights that we want to see. What do I think? I think we might see, if Bob can get that money right, we'll probably see Bud Crawford versus Josh Taylor, because it just looks like the dates are gonna line up. I don't see Errol Spence going right into a Bud Crawford fight. I don't. And I almost don't even want that to happen, because I don't want any excuses. I know how certain fan bases operate. You know, excuses and conspiracy theories, and you know, I'd rather not have any of that. So let him go ahead and take his tune-up fight, even though he just wanted to fight another champion, Ugas. He was just asking for that fight, right? But we know how things change when it comes to Bud Crawford. Okay. I would like to see Spence give Keith Thurman that fight. Like, you got to fight somebody, bro. And Thurman's been out of the game for about 2 years. Like, if you can't beat him, I don't know. But here's the thing. I like Thurman. And I'll possibly, if Thurman is, if he's retained 85% of what he was before, I'd be tempted to pick Thurman in that fight. You know, I think Mikey Garcia's finished. I think he's done. I think that time away from the sport wasn't good for him. You know, he got all that money and he didn't have to box. Like, fighter, you got to keep that edge. I think Mikey Garcia is finished. Ugas is in this tournament. Conor Ben, he's got this fight with this nutritionist, Algieri, right? As for Boots and Virgil Ortiz, I see them fighting these guys who are made into gatekeepers. If Porter wasn't retired, I would see them fighting Porter, Mean Machine, Kell Brook. I see those guys. They're gonna have to step up against one of those guys. But I do like the way the division is looking. And yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting that we get to look at some more fights. We get to put Crawford where he should be, like on a level. Like, all that stuff about his resume kind of goes away. But he still needs to stay focused. You know, he still needs to he can't let off the gas. He has to do the same things that got him here. Like, because it can happen. Like, banana peels can happen to anybody, right? Anybody. You know, if I get out of here and my head's not on the swivel, something can happen to me, right? We all, as a man, like, you got to be ready always. You can never put your guard down. Okay? So that's all I got. This video went a little bit too long, but yeah. Hey, drop your comments, man. I love the comments that y'all are making on my videos. Keep it coming. Share this video. Hit the like button. You know, it's little stuff like that, like hitting the like button, share the video. You know, let's talk about it. Drop me a comment. Holla.